Hello everyone, it's Andy Glen here, welcoming you to another podcast from Sharks TV. And today I'm joined by Sharks assistant coach, Jamie Thomson. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm good, Andrew. Thanks for the invite. Nice to be here. Nice to talk to you as always.
Yeah, nice to be here in this fantastic facility that's getting built for us.
Your new executive lounge, it's very impressive.
Absolutely, only the very choice people will get in here. And
Everybody, them must have been at work, were they?
No, it's always great to chat to you. You're always a great interview, and we're going to talk to you about all things hockey, all the things you do. You must have more jobs than anybody else around about the rink. So first of all, let's just talk a bit about the Sharks and the season to date. To be fair, it's not what we expected, not what we hoped, but we are where we are, and there are definite positives from the season. What's your thoughts on the season as a whole, Jamie?
Well, you used the royal we there, Andy. Like, my thoughts were right at the start. I think we need to be realistic about where we are. The positives are, I fully believe we've got a competitive team, which is the main thing. I think the infrastructure about the club is fantastic. The massive positive for me is just seeing more bums on seats and more people about the rink on game night, and it's great to see the local support coming out, and I've no doubt that'll grow as we become a successful outfit again. And also just getting here is a massive plus point of success. Obviously, look, results on the ice can be better, but we're not far away, and it's clicking, and we'll get there sooner rather than later. I'm confident of that. So a lot of positives about the place, not many negative, if I'm honest.
I mean, I have to say I agree with you about the fans and the atmosphere. I think there's a better atmosphere in the rink than there's ever been that I've certainly witnessed. Or maybe people in the Vikings days will say it was better then, but there's an excitement when you come along to the rink, isn't there?
100%. I mean, it's been a long time since, even as a coach, we've had that kind of game day buzz and coming at the rink and seeing a bit of hype and stuff about the place. And the volume of supporters help with that, and a lot of the new people help with that as well, because they're making more noise, a bit more oohs and ahs and stuff. But I have to say and hats off, said it before, but the core of that group that are now all seated together up the back, that's been a massive plus point for the boys and for everybody in general, because we put all the noisy people together. And generally, whether they wanted to be there together or not, I think it's worked wonderfully, and it's definitely given the boys a lift and a lift in atmosphere around about the rink, as leaders. And again, thanks to them for coming. I know they're the guys that travel the length and breadth of the country with us, and I don't for one want them ever thinking that it's not appreciated, because it really is. And as people do, you see in these dance-off things, videos, when one person starts making noise, then another one will, and another one will, and like dominoes, before we know it'll have the whole place rocking, and we're getting there week on week, which is fantastic.
I was going to say that it's almost like the police kettling all the reprobates into the one area in Section F, and I realised I'm sitting in Section F, so forget that. But hopefully it's the whole rink that's starting to get involved in it. You're probably too long in the tooth, but to even feel this. But before a game on a Saturday morning, I'm getting butterflies in my stomach thinking about the game and what it's going to be like, and the atmosphere and the whole lot. And I don't think I'm alone in that.
No, but I think as a sports fan in general, if you're spending your time and your money and following your club, like a lot of football fans talk about that and the game day experience and stuff, and hockey's no different to that. And it's great that fans are experiencing that as well, and an important part, because that's what keeps you coming back, part of the excitement. And I know Struan touched on it the other night. If you're coming to a game and knowing that we're going to win by 5, 10, 15 goals, what have you got to be excited about? There's nothing there. So again, testament to the loyal fan base that we've got, because they kept coming. But I'm really happy to hear the feedback for the fans that they're loving the games and the tempo and the physicality of the games now, and they're actually getting to see real hockey for a change.
The speed's just astounding. It's. I mean, you'll hear people say, "Come along," and please do. If your neighbour's not been, or your friends haven't been, come down to see the fastest team sport in the world. And it's not until you're up close that you really, really appreciate how fast things go.
I know these boys can shift. It's a big uptake in where we were for sure. The pace, the physicality, the boys are bigger, stronger, they shoot the puck harder, they pass it quicker. Just the whole game is just better all round, you know.
Can I ask you a couple of specifics?
Yeah.
I know you say I can ask you any question, but special teams, they're no at the best at this point in time. How do you improve that as a coach? How do you even start to think that? Is it just practice?
Well, I think we've got to look at where we're going wrong for a start, right? And I think Martin's touched on it loads of times. We were playing on the outside of the rink a lot, and we had a lot of possession and stuff, and all that's great in the power play, but we weren't really, making any inroads and getting the puck on net enough. And I think we're starting to see improvement on that. And yes, the answer to the question is just practice and drilling down on it and walking through things slowly on practice and trying new different things. And then on the penalty kill, I think we've done reasonably well, but we're also, a little bit lax on that, and we've been mixing units up to try and make something click. We actually, Martin and Dale Keane had the Great Britain 20s camp on this week up here, and Dale, for me, is a fantastic coach, and we roped him up on Tuesday night to get him in to have a look at our power penalty kill in particular, and get his views on it. And he did a bit of work with him, and what he said was, really, really good advice, and maybe not a totally different message to what we're saying, but a different voice, sometimes helps.
Yeah, somebody else saying it gives that a bit more authority, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. But when it comes down to, again, a new team 8 weeks in, our power play is a completely different unit. And our penalty kill guys, we've split them up that have done a fantastic job. But at this level, your special teams, they need to be scoring goals, and we know that, and we'll get there. I think it's improving week on week.
What you been most happy with, most proud of?
To be honest, probably just the fact that we've got here and pulled it off and got more bums on seats and started to deliver out. And we've got proud, I'm proud every time the boys put the shirt on, they go on and they give everything they've got. I know, how much they hate to lose. And I know how hard that is for them, but I'm proud of how hard they're working, and the commitment level that they've gave us, and ultimately they'll get the reward out of that. I'm sure there'll be proud moments throughout as it goes. You know me, and it's not about me or Martin. It's about us as a unit, as a club, as a team, and a community. And there's lots of proud moments in there. Seeing the kids on in between the periods, and seeing how much of a reaction the boys have with them, and vice versa. That brings a tear to a glass eye sometimes, Andy. And I just think as a whole, since John, Phil, and Davey have come in, they've taken us up a notch in terms of engagement right across the platform. And I'm really proud to see that that's not been a one-way street from our local community, the fans, the players, and everybody's buying into that. And that's before we're even starting to get results.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest as well. You're talking about you're just happy to be here. We didn't have a season's notice that we were going to be moving up. We got it, end of last season, new owners. There was a shed load of work and stuff to be put in place that probably hardly anybody appreciates watching this as a fan. Just think, sign another 22 or sign the 22 guys, ice the team, and away you go.
Yeah, it sounds easy, right?
No, it's dead easy.
I will say one thing. There's definitely, I'm definitely, and Martin's definitely and the boys are definitely we're not happy just to be here.
Yeah.
We're not here just to take part, really. We'll not be happy until we're right up there in the mix and we start winning things. And that'll take time, and that's when we'll get there. But it's no easy. Obviously, we've been planning for this for numerous years without actually knowing that it's going to happen. Every year we start looking at players if with the big if.
Yeah.
And I think we pulled this team together in 6 to 8 weeks. So we've not done too bad a job. If we were coming in here and getting blown out the water every week, then I'd be really worried. But I think we've recruited wisely. I think we've got a really good group, and given the short time that they've been together, we're seeing improvements all the time. So I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, so moving on, some of the other jobs that you've got. Scottish hockey, you're really involved in Scottish hockey. Tell us your role that you you've got in that?
I've been involved in the national setup for over 10 years as a coach. Latterly, the last 5 or 6 years as the Scotland under-17, under-18 head coach. I've took a back step from that this year after all that time. Mainly, to be honest, so I can sit and watch Bailey because it's his last year in that age group and I want to sit and watch some games and let him do his own thing. And to be honest, I don't really want to coach him. I never have. So I've taken on, for the last 18 months, the head of hockey operations for the SIH. There's obviously a lot of turmoil and stuff happened there in the past. And not something I ever really wanted to do, if I'm honest, but at some point somebody's got to step up and get involved and instead of talking, start doing. And there wasn't anybody else doing it. So after a few conversations with the new board, we got involved in that, and I oversee all of the national programme from top to bottom. All the junior leagues, the SNL league, and I suppose the Recce league as well. But Eric Young, who runs that, the Recce's run themselves. They're very well organised and really well looked after. And we've got a good management group and a good board in there. And to be honest, my involvement and stuff like that is very limited on a week-to-week basis. I only get involved if someone needs a decision or something sorted out. And my look forward is more. We drew up a wish list of things we wanted to deliver and then try to make them happen, which we've done a lot in the last 6 months. I use the word we because it's a board decision, but we've introduced a new development pathway for young players coming through so they can play senior hockey if they're good enough and able. Loads of risk assessments and stuff involved in that, but it gives you the opportunity to remove a date of birth being the marker of somebody being good enough, which is fantastic, and taking us exactly where we need to be.
There was a lot of stuff on social media about that, but the general consensus is that it was a very good decision.
Well, the feedback's been amazing and really positive. And to put it into context, we've had 3 applications this year, declined 1 and approved 2. So we're not talking about the masses here. It is an elite pathway that we're talking about. And I'm sure as the years go on, there'll be more people coming through it. But that was one massive thing. The other thing was obviously the Scotland teams used to go to England and compete in a tournament down there once a year, and England went down a different pathway. That's their programme they can do. So we've now got home internationals here that we run our own tournaments up in Dumfries the last 2 years, where we've played all age groups against England, and those games have been fantastic and give the GB coaches something to watch.
There's quite a few folk along for these games as well, wasn't there?
Oh, a good couple of hundred at least. Yeah, very good. And we've been to Riga and we've been to Latvia as a country, and Riga is Latvia, Slovakia, just outside Bratislava. We've been a couple of times, and so I organise all that trip and the cost involved in that, and oversee that. And then obviously we've got how do we make our leagues more competitive? How do we produce more pro players? How do you remove the barrier from sport and allow more people in? And all these other wonderful questions that right now are being talked about on a weekly basis. And Scottish hockey's in a really, really good and strong place right now. And a very proactive approach to it. There's not a lot of... We don't say no to a lot of stuff. We'd rather say yes, but how do we do it,
Yeah.
Which I believe is the right attitude with a lot of the stuff.
Remove the barriers rather than it's too difficult to do.
Well, let's stop finding reasons for why not to do something, right?
I get it.
And so it's in a really good place. So I've got that on. My role in that was I said I'd do it for 2 years, get everything done that I said I'd done. I'm still kind of sticking to that. Whether that happens or not, me, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I enjoy it now. It doesn't take up a huge amount of my time. And I think it's important that somebody's in the role that's still active in hockey, and and we've rebuilt the relationship with GB, with England, all these important fractions, and we're all working together now to try and make the game better. So we're in a pretty strong place now. That's good.
It's something to be really proud of. Also, you're involved in junior hockey here as well, aren't you?
Sometimes. I mean,
if you've got time, that is.
If I've got time. So Ross, Murray, Peanut, Struan, Bentham, all these guys are doing a great job coaching juniors now and taking over from all us older ones after a long time. Bobby Chalmers is doing a great job. And And if some of the guys that are still active and playing have games, then that's maybe why you'll not see me at a game or whatever, because I'll go with them so that they can still play. But I still, kind of oversee things. Obviously, my wife runs the junior club and is turned into Mrs. Hockey, which I never thought would happen. But
Leon's chair, isn't she?
yes, but so she does that, does a great job, and I just pretty much do what I'm told with the juniors. But the junior club here is something that's, obviously we've all grew up in, so we'll always make sure that it's in a really safe place, and I think it is. We've got some good coaches, and there's a lot of good young players coming through as well.
I'm going to ask a difficult question here, and you might not be able to divulge anything, but I think a lot of Sharks fans are so proud, and just proud's probably the best word, of the junior hockey and the pathway that comes through.
Yep.
The key thing for us is, where do those juniors take the next step? Because it's probably a really tough jump to get from junior hockey to playing in the NIHL. We don't really want to be sending people away in 2 ways to other clubs. Is it time? Is it possible for the Sharks to have an SNL team that a lot of those juniors can take their first steps or their next steps into that hockey career pathway?
Maybe. I mean, you're right. We've got a lot of good players coming through. As you've seen, we've done our young Sharks apprenticeship. I made a formal deal of that this year. We've got Bailey, Thomas, Ewan, Owen, Logan in there. There's other kids in the mix in the junior clubs as well. Is the time now? No, probably not. Probably not right now, because we need to focus on putting all avenues and eyes and interest onto this. Next season, I think there's a good possibility that you might see an NHL 2 or 1 or SNL team from Solway. Maybe a prospects team, maybe with some old heads in it, who knows. That is being talked about, and the owners have been really supportive of that. That takes a bit of work, and it's on the timeline. You're right, we don't want to send them away, but we're sending them to places where they know they're going to get drafted.
I'm not meaning that.
Aye.
I'm just meaning there's a lot of support that would maybe come to an NIHL 1 or 2. Where ideally would you see a Sharks second team play?
Realistically, probably first year in the SNL. I think the SNL league is it's slowly but surely becoming a younger league. They've went from 1 home and away to now 2 home and away. It's less travel, so it cuts down on the cost and stuff like that. So probably an SNL team is the right way to go.
Do you think there's much difference in the standard between NIHL 1 and SNL?
Not now, if I'm honest. I think the top 3 or 4 teams in the SNL could compete with the top 3 or 4 teams in the NIHL 1 quite comfortably now.
Yeah.
The Caps, Comets, Aberdeen, probably even the Tigers have got a strong unit. And on their day, young Kilmarnock and stuff will do really well. Kestrels as well are a good team.
Kestrels are doing well.
So I think that would make for a pretty good league, to be honest.
Look up at the links and all the rest of it as well.
Aye.
That was my.
Yeah, I don't see much difference between it, to be honest. If anything, I think the Scottish teams are possibly stronger and deeper.
Maybe it's time for some of the NIHL 1 teams to move into an SNL league.
Maybe it's time for 2 associations to start talking to each other and see what happens. You never know.
Who'd have thought that would have been a good idea?
Who'd have thunk it?
So you're doing all that sort of stuff with juniors. Now, if you're watching this podcast, I need you to like, share and subscribe as always, so get that done. But hopefully if you're watching it and you're thinking, or your kids are in the room or something like that, and your kids are like, they've been to the game, they've seen some of the excitement, they felt that buzz. How exactly does a youngster who's never even been on the ice perhaps get involved in hockey? What do they do? Who do they speak to? How do they get involved?
I think step 1 has to be get them on the ice skating. The councillor runs sessions all week, different times and stuff. So get them on the ice skating, throw them on, let them have a bit of fun. If they're young, bring them to snow tot sessions and things like that. Let them enjoy being on the ice. And skating for me is the most important fact, and I bet that a lot of things get left to last now. You get a lot of kids that get thrown on with a stick and stuff, and they can't skate. Learn them how to skate. Get them some skating lessons. Get them on
programs,
ice.
Isn't there?
Learn to skate programs, snow tots. We also have a learn to play program that Struan and the council run, and that's on 2 or 3 times a week.
Then maybe learn to play.
I think so, because to give them a chance at really enjoying it, they need to be able to stand up on their feet. You know, so get them on nice skating for me is number one, and then take it from there.
All right. And you just get that details either on your Facebook page, the Junior Sharks, or the Ice Bowl page is probably a good page to follow.
Ice Bowl Facebook page has all the posts on it, or phone the reception, and the staff are really good, or just arrive.
Just pop up. Okay, so you do the Scottish stuff, the juniors. You do the alumni stuff as well. We doing an alumni this season, or is
the dates in the diary. It's all booked, and we're looking at ideas to try and make it bigger and better again next year. And you know, it was good. So we organised that. Well, I organised that, I should say.
How much money did you make this year for charity?
I think we donated. This year we didn't sell as many tops and stuff, but we still donated the bones of £1,000. To the charity, which is well worthwhile. Whereas last year it was about $2,000, but we did sell about 25 or 30 strips last year, and we didn't do that this year. Mainly down to me because I didn't have time to do it and all the rest of it. But
what are you doing with your time? It's not like you're busy.
I was on holiday. I was golfing.
You golf secretary as well.
Yeah.
Right, have you taken all the new Sharks out on golf courses yet?
No, I played with Mace. No Mace. I took Nolan and Kell. Mason wanted to come, he needs left sticks. And obviously I play with Hairdo and Callum and stuff quite regular. And they're not bad. Nolan's pretty handy.
Nolan's pretty handy.
Aye, Nolan's pretty handy. McGill and stuff, they're all cheats though, right? They're all hockey players. They're all trying to claim that they're on these big handicaps, but they'll not get any freebies from me.
Oh dear. So, coming at the end of the chat just now, Jamie, any messages to fans?
Just what I said to start with, thanks for the support and bear with us, hopefully you're enjoying the games. The biggest ask would be bring somebody new. Every game, just bring somebody new. Terrorise your pals that haven't came, your neighbour, whatever, chap their door, tell them to come. I'm sure if you've got a group of newbies for your work or whatever and you want to organise a night out, that John and the guys might put something on for you, or maybe throw you some tickets, or some free madries or some cheap madries. Maybe you might shoot me for saying that. But
have you met John Strange before?
No, listen. You tell John Strange that you're going to bring 10 or 15 people. He'll do you a deal.
Right, you heard that. You heard it first from JT, not from me. From JT. It would be great to get more people down. It's one of those sports. You come along once, generally hooked, aren't you?
Well, I think for every 10 people that come, we probably retain 5 of them, unlike other sports, There's nothing to be bored at here. Everybody that comes loves it,
I came on a free ticket. My first game was a free ticket. It was gifted when I started work at the college. I came along and just...
And look at you now.
I know. It's just an obsession now, isn't it? Everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, Jamie, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with me this afternoon. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. Take care and have a good weekend coming up. And for everybody watching, thank you for watching and take care. And we'll see you down at the rink soon.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye.